That's weird. Fun with audio in OBS. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates or a box of shit. Well, I guess box of shit, you'd know who it was. Oh, you heard it. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, man, a little Barney Miller theme. That bass line at the beginning, that boom, ba-da-doom, ba-da-doom, ba-da-da-da-da-da. And then you had that, the electric piano there. Classic 70s funky smooth groove there. So a little treat for you. I'm probably gonna run out of TV show themes here pretty soon. It'll end up like just doing the theme song to the CBS morning news or whatever the fuck. We're not doing that shit. Good morning, everybody. Seth Michael Pinder in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well down in Tejas. We got global security here. John Kemper's here too. What's up, buddy? Bella, good to see you. And Osama number 5. Anonymous. It is your fault that you're here, Moose. No one drug you out into the night and made you do this. So Willie Bragg in the house too. Good morning to you, sir. I think he's got a stream coming up today, I think. Is that right, Willie? You guys showed it this evening? Let us know. Yeah, I love that TV Generation X walk down memory lane. Yeah, me too. I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm biased because I was a kid and you watch like stuff like that. The A-Team, that's a good one. That it's just, it seemed like there was a lot of more care into it. And then I think they just stopped doing theme songs altogether on the networks. I think on the Nickelodeon shows they all had their own openings and theme songs, but I don't know any of those because if you ever look into Nickelodeon, some of the dark shit involving Dan Schneider, I think his name, the guy he was like one of the kids that was on Head of the Class back in the day. Dr. Johnny Fever being the star of that one. But yeah, so anyway, that's a rabbit hole you probably don't want to go down. Yeah, Knight Rider too. Hello. Yeah, and a fun fact, the voice of Kit was what's his name? He was the principal on, was it Small World, whatever, Small Wonder, whatever that is, but he was also a doctor on St. Elsewhere too. So Daniels, I think is his last name, or maybe that was his character's name. I don't know. Another Gen X goodie. Anyway, we got stuff to get to. Got a lot of news today. This was kind of breaking today, so this is from Press TV, coming out of Nepal. So right off the bat, this was earlier today in Nepal. Of course, Nepal's like almost like a day in the future. They never will send us the winning lotto numbers. But anyway, they're right now, there's 18 people that were killed when a passenger plane crashed and caught fire while taking off from the capital Kathmandu today. This was like around 11 a.m. their time. Kind of wild. But what the hell happened? We didn't do that. There we go. So this is the plane, and there it is, and like, oh no, it crashes right behind the other plane there. And there's a big fireball, and you're like, but there was let's see. Okay, so yeah, so 18 were killed. The pilot was the only survivor. Sauria, S-A-U-R-Y-A Airlines, I hope I pronounced that right. Plane carrying 2 crew members and 17 passengers crashed shortly after takeoff and caught fire. Like we said, it was taken off from Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. The pilot was the only survivor. and was being treated in the hospital, the Civil Aviation Authority on Nepal said in a statement. 19 people were on the test flight conducted by the domestic carrier Sauria Airlines, including technical staff members and 2 crew members. The incident, like I said, took place around 11:11 local time in the morning. It was a 50-seat Bombardier CRJ-200. The aviation authority said the plane then turned right and crashed into eastern section of the airport. It was on its way to the resort town of Pokhara. The cause of the crash still being investigated. So, these plane crashes in the news these days, I mean, I don't know if Boeing's involved in that, but you never know. I mean, there's a lot of safety issues that could have been. I'm not saying it could have been pilot error, could have been a number of things. So, but that's one of the reasons why we have to pay attention to stuff like that. These stories about like these plane crashes and stuff, especially like if you're trying to make an argument against capitalism, at least the current version of capitalism that we have, you have to point to those examples, like what Boeing's doing stuff on the cheap, cutting corners. Safety be damned. So, all right, moving on. So, leading off today, we've got, of course, Cacklepuss. It's not official. They're going to do it at the, hey, poor dirt farmer in the house from Florida. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Yeah, it went face down. The pilot survived. I don't know, man. That guy should be playing the lotto, that's for sure. But here at home, we got Kamala Harris finally. Well, it's not official. Like I said, they won't do this till next month. But all of the delegates from the states around the country, through their support for Harris, that happened yesterday, I believe. Or maybe on Monday, I believe. So she says she's ready to take on Donald Trump in the U.S. presidential election as the likely Democratic nominee. She held her first campaign rally in her push for the White House. We're going to talk about this rally later on in the propaganda watch. There's a lot of Joker face in that segment, so we'll save our powder for that. Desert Mantis, hello, good to see you. Good morning, or good afternoon, or wherever you are. I feel like Art Bill. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Across the nation, across the world. Covered like a blanket. John Teeter. Sorry. She's ready to take on Trump. Speaking to a crowd in Wisconsin Tuesday afternoon, she pledged to unite the Democratic Party so that we are ready to win in November. We have 105 days until Election Day, and in that time we have some work to do. But we're not afraid of hard work, and we will win this election. We're going to win it. We're going to win it, Skippy. Skippy Peanut Butter's going to win it, too. So that rally came 2 days after he dropped out, after the Crypt Keeper took off. So... yeah, so it's not official, like we said, but it's going to be official here when they have this this dumbass convention. I don't even know why they're having the convention, but I really do hope that there's just one really big asshole in the Democratic Party who just like throws a fit and says, I nominate cheese sandwiches and buttermilk and biscuits. I don't know. Yeah, that so we're gonna and of course K-Hive on your local tweeters is just gonna be nutty about it. They're already just like I said, we'll talk about that later. And the reason we cover the propaganda stuff is so you can understand what the propaganda is. If you already know what it is, tell your friends. If you don't, yeah, I can't believe you'd be forced to listen to her. Yeah, the cackle. It's not a cackle. It's a sincere laugh. I don't know why people think it's a cackle. That's I added the wolf howl. She doesn't do the wolf howl. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the SS of America, wink, the Secret Service, the chief Don Cheatle. Oh no, that's Kimberly Cheatle. Is saying, "I'm out. Peace out. Home slices. Word to the mother." Yeah. So she's resigning over the Trump shooting. Cheatle stepping down amid pressure after assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. So that's her with her right hand there. And the flag lapel pin, because we all know you have to have that as part of your propaganda uniform here. Yeah, we're still going to the DC convention. I'm gonna go see who's hanging out outside and see if I can sell weed to him. Or attempt to. It's just going to be oregano, but I'm going to say it's weed. The head of the, I'm not doing that, cops. Wink, wink. The head of the U.S. Secret Service is stepping down over the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump after days of mounting pressure and criticism for failing to prevent the shooting. Kimberly Cheatle sent an email to staff yesterday announcing her plans to step down, the AP news agency reported. She had been under pressure from U.S. lawmakers to resign as questions continue to swirl around security protocols at Trump's July 13th rally in Pennsylvania, where the former president and Republican presidential nominee was allegedly shot in the ear. I take full responsibility for the security lapse, Cheatle said in the email to staff. In light of recent events, it is with a heavy heart that I have made this difficult decision to step down as your director. U.S. President, stack of powder that's about to be Thanos. Joe Biden thanked the Secret Service director for her decades of public service and said he planned to appoint her replacement soon. So yeah, if you didn't see where the Crypt Keeper was spotted in public, they finally saw him, or at least we think that was him. Kind of didn't, I don't know, kind of looked like him. I don't know. The independent review to get to the bottom of what happened on July 13th continues, and I look forward to assessing its conclusions. We all know what happened. That day can never happen again, Biden said in a statement. Well, at least he's like, it can never happen again, and hopefully it doesn't happen to me. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas later in the day appointed Ronald L. Rowe, the Secret Service's deputy director, to serve as acting director following Cheatle's resignation. Right? You think you're an Iron Man. You think you'd have some sway. No, wait, I keep saying that's Don Cheatle. God damn it. Why do I keep messing with my Cheatles? There's so many Cheatles.
The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July.
Okay. So yeah, that's she's out, and that whole thing is still just kind of kooky nuts. You know, if you've been watching The Last American Vagabond with Ryan Christian over there, and Whitney Webb too. They've both been doing some great work uncovering the subtle nuances of what's around the shootings and stuff like that. I highly recommend checking out Unlimited Hangouts and The Last American Vagabond. Two good sources for in-depth into all that stuff. Good theories, plausible theories. Yeah, he's been on fire lately, John, that's for sure. So Ryan Christian, man. And he got his website taken down. I don't know if that's back up or not, but I think he's back up and running. But if they're taking you down, you must be doing something right. Meanwhile, back in hell, Israel has decided to go back into Khan Younis again because sure, why not? Apparently they didn't get everybody. This is from antiwar.com. Dave DeCamp, the hardest working man in independent media, at least on this show anyway. UN says 150,000 Palestinians flee Israel's new assault on Khan Younis. The UN said yesterday that it estimated 150,000 Palestinians fled eastern Khan Younis since Israel launched its new assault on the southern Gaza Strip city on Monday. Israel's evacuation order for the new offensive covered areas previously declared so-called safe zones, which Israel has frequently bombed. At this point, I would say to my Palestinian friends, if they say that to go to a safe zone, it's not going to be a safe zone. Recent history has proven otherwise. An official from the UN's Palestinian Relief Agency, UNRWA, UNRWA, I'm just going to say UNRWA because that's a little much, told BBC that 80% of Gaza had been placed under evacuation orders or designated as no-go zones by the Israeli military. We're going to talk about the UNRWA there here in a moment. The Israeli military said it launched the new offensive because Hamas had reconstituted itself in the area. The IDF has reinvaded Khan Younis and other cities. It is completely destroyed multiple times. The Nasser hospital has been overwhelmed with injured Palestinians since Israel launched the new assault, and many Palestinians who fled the offensive are taking shelter in the hospital. So I believe Hezbollah responded to that. This is from Jason Ditz over at antiwar.com. Hezbollah launches retaliatory strikes at northern Israel after deadly drone strikes. So Hezbollah responded to that Israeli drone strike early yesterday by launching a flurry of drone attacks against mountain area. An Israeli spokesman also reporting drone attacks near Mount Mornin and rocket fire against the city of Kiryat Shimona, Shlamazel Hasefever Incorporated, in northern Israel. In addition, Hezbollah rockets were fired against the western Galilee settlement of Suriel for the first time. Israeli reports are that 2 Israelis were wounded in the attacks. So the Israeli attack took place in the South Lebanon village of Shakra, killing 1 person and wounding several others. The reported drone strike targeted a vehicle in the village that was used to sell candy and snacks to locals. Yeah, targeting candy trucks. Self-defense, right? That candy was a terrorist. Well, you know, the head candy bomber is here in the United States. BiBi, Benjamin Netanyahu, not going to work here anymore. Netanyahu is over here. If so, that sense of evil that you feel on the East Coast over there, East Coasters, yeah, that's your boy. But of course we knew there was going to be protests. This is from Al Mayadeen online, and they're talking about protesters zip-tied and escorted out of the Capitol ahead of Nut and Honey's speech. Thousands are expected to protest today. He's supposed to speak this afternoon in Congress. Activists have stormed Congress ahead of Benjamin Netanyahu's speech in protest of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Inside the U.S. Capitol building, a group named Jews Say Stop Arming Israel gathered at the Cannon Rotunda in protest of Netanyahu's visit. Over 400 American Jews protested at the Capitol building on the day after Netanyahu's arrival and refused to leave, chanting, "Arms embargo now, stop arming Israel," and other chants protesting the genocide in Gaza. There have also been calls for a mass demonstration today in rejection of BiBi's address. So, and folks here. Man, let's keep the budget. That's probably what they were saying. Fucking cops. And as we reported the other day, the House Speaker Mike Johnson said that if anybody wants to protest inside while BiBi's doing his speech, and he's talking about actual elected members of Congress. He said he was going to put them in jail. So that's 2024, y'all. We going to jail for all kinds of shit around here. But like we said, BiBi is in town. That's why it kind of the IQ level dropped about 10% across the board. So Dave DeCamp again. Biden to Netanyahu will meet with Biden and presumably Vice President Harris on Thursday, and Trump on Friday. So he's set to meet with both presidents during his visit this week. He said he'd be meeting with Biden at the White House on Thursday. The meeting was initially scheduled for Tuesday, but was pushed back as Biden has been recovering from COVID-19 or whatever the excuse they had. Him behind bars. I wish. Him, Bernie Lomax over there. Trump initially said he would meet with Netanyahu on Thursday at Mar-a-Lago Resort in Florida, but he later said it was pushed back to Friday at the Israeli leader's request. Looking forward to welcoming BiBi in Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, Florida. Trump wrote in Truth Social. He said he was supposed to meet with Harris, but a date and time haven't been set. Harris is not going to be attending Netanyahu's address to Congress on Wednesday, since she will be in Indianapolis as part of her new presidential campaign, which was launched on Sunday after Biden. Blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of like what do they call that? A continuation of government kind of thing. So everybody, all the government leaders are going to be in that one building. So it's if she's on the outside, and God forbid something happens there, then she would be okay, and she would be the only member of government left. And boy, if you thought it was fucked up before, she running it by herself. It's like some dystopian, sci-fi B movie. It's the future, and the Earth is a barren landscape, and Kamala Harris is the only government person left, and she has to run the government with robots that she built in a shed, and and her constituency is mutated cave dwellers. I don't know. Exactly. So yeah, continuity of government. Woo. And that would be your continuity right there. God help us. Well, I mean, with all this stuff going on in Israel and all the evilness that they're doing across the pond, Cambridge University is taking a bit of a look at things as what's the spot of bother going on over here in the Middle East, prim and proper. Sorry to my English friends. I tend to butcher the English language on the daily, but the British, the English accent, that's just kind of fun. Cambridge University to review investments in response to pro-Gaza protests. This is from Middle East Eye. University says demonstrations and appeals by the student union and in colleges prompted it to consider whether policy, quote, in line with our institutional values. All right. So, and this is the encampment on Cambridge's iconic King's Parade. Kind of nice. Cambridge has announced it will review its approach to responsible investment in response to a months-long pro-Palestinian student encampment at the university. The university administration said in a statement yesterday, quote, the students' union approved motion, various college-level approved motions, and the students protesting with the Cambridge encampment for Palestine have expressed a concern to us that our current investment may not be in line with our institutional values, especially in relation to the arms/defense industry. It promised to consider, quote, ways of defining and monitoring defense exposures without investment portfolios as part of the review, right? So yeah, so a lot of this interest in Israel by these colleges, yet there's always some nefarious stuff behind it, right? There's always something else. There's always some money angle. So this comes after Middle East Eye revealed in May that the Council of Cambridge's wealthiest constituent college, Trinity, voted to divest from all arms companies, but that it later decided not to announce the decision. Trinity refused to confirm or deny this in response to multiple requests for comment in May. So yeah, good looking out there. Instead of trying to fire people protesting, they're like, hey, wait a minute, they might actually have a point. Maybe we should look into this, right? It's funny how you look into two sides of things, just to make sure that you know what's going on. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Meanwhile, speaking of Hezbollah and Israel, Hezbollah has been just their psychological warfare is delicious, right? Because it's like, look, this is what they did in Vietnam, and this is where they've done when you have like guerrilla warfare, it's really unpredictable because you don't know when or where a lot of these factions are going to do things. And so it's like, and now with the internet and with drones, like the personal drones, like little small drones, these drones are going into some pretty crazy places. So check this out. This. So this is from I-24 News. I think that's an Israeli outfit. I'm not quite sure. So, drone from Lebanon captures images of sensitive Israeli sites, the latest in Hezbollah's psychological warfare. If you remember, like a few weeks back or about a month or so back, they were showing all these sensitive areas in Israel. The release footage from Iron Dome battery station. Sorry about that, guys. The release footage from Iron Dome battery stationed at the Ramat David base, planes and combat helicopters and radar antennas. Very nice. The troll game is strong with those cats. And that's the way you're gonna if you're that if you're going up against all the money that the United States is throwing at you like that, you have to really think outside the box. Like I said, that's what they did with the Iron Dome. They threw all these crap drones at it that were just like really inexpensive. And Israel responded by wasting a lot of their really expensive countermeasures. And that's what you do. It's like, in this day and age, you don't drain them of their stockpiles of weapons, you drain them of their money, and you fuck with them just like these guys. So we told you earlier, right, about UNRWA, UNRWA, is it called UNRWA? I don't know how to say that. I'm just gonna say UNRWA. How they have been attacked by the IDF in Palestine as they're trying to lend aid to these poor people here. So this is from the Libertarian Institute, our buddy Kyle Anzalone. And he does just as a reminder, Kyle does a show called Conflicts of Interest on YouTube. He usually uploads it in the mornings. And Dave DeCamp has a few of his stories from antiwar.com. Just check out their channels and subscribe to them if you want to get up-to-date news and stuff like that. So the Israeli parliament advances legislation that calls and a UN aid agency, a quote terrorist group. All right. So the Knesset voted in favor of a series of bills that will shut down the UN agency for Palestinians. One piece of legislation will name UNRWA a terrorist entity. Yesterday, the Israeli legislature passed 3 bills targeting UNRWA. The legislation will prevent the agency from operating in Israel, strip UNRWA staff of privileges given to other UN employees, and name the organization a terror group. Each bill passed its first reading by a large majority. The legislation will be returned to the committee and must pass future votes before becoming Israeli law. The UNRWA spokesman, Juliet Touma, it's not a Touma, called the law, quote, another attempt in a wider campaign to dismantle the agency, adding such steps are unheard of in the history of the United Nations. Yes, there's been a lot of kooky stuff with the United Nations lately, mostly because they're hamstrung by the United States having veto power on the Security Council, which basically, unless it's in the United States' interest, they're not going to vote for it. Since October 7th, Tel Aviv has targeted the group in a propaganda campaign and targeted the organization's buildings and staff. In January, Israel claimed to have compiled an intelligence dossier that showed UNRWA's staff participated in the Hamas attack on southern Israel. Tel Aviv shockingly failed to produce the evidence to support the assertions. However, much of the political damage was done as a handful of countries cut funding to UNRWA, and the U.S. Congress barred Washington from sending funds to the group until 2025, which I'm pretty sure they're assuming that's when Palestine is going to be wiped off the map completely. And to say that they're defending themselves in Israel is total and complete bullshit. These are sadists that are killing innocent people and a lot of children, some for sport. And this is pretty disturbing, but I thought I would share this with you. So an American surgeon who volunteered in Gaza says the IDF snipers shoot toddlers. He says no toddler gets shot twice by mistake. This is Dr. Mark Perlmutter. Perlmutter is a surgeon who volunteered in Gaza. He told CBS Sunday Morning, in an interview that aired this past Sunday, that Israeli snipers were purposely shooting Palestinian children, including toddlers. He said, this is American surgeon. He said, quote, I had children who were shot twice, he said, who said he was in Gaza at the end of April and the first couple weeks of May. He said, I have 2 children, and I have photographs of that were shot so perfectly in the chest I couldn't put my stethoscope over her heart more accurately and directly on the side of the head in the same child. Perlmutter added, no toddler gets shot twice by mistake by the, quote, world's best snipers, quote, and they're dead center shots. Other foreign doctors who volunteer in Gaza gave similar accounts to The Guardian back in April, saying Israeli snipers were shooting children in the head. Earlier this month, the Israeli outlet 972 magazine published a report citing Israeli soldiers that detailed how the IDF in Gaza essentially had no restrictions on who they could shoot. The report said the IDF, quote, routinely executes, quote, civilians who enter areas the military deemed no-go zones, and it detailed shootings where children were killed. This is just some evil shit going on over there. And this is just more evidence of this, right? And you have like these two-faced people, oh my, that's horrible. We shouldn't allow that. And it's like, well, who did you vote for? Oh, well, I voted for the Republican, or I voted for the Democrat, or I voted for RFK. Oh, did you? You know, they're not going to do anything for those kids, right? They're not going to do anything for those kids. So yeah, keep voting. Vote as hard as you can. That always works. But you know, as things go, as things go, Hamas and groups that have aligned themselves with Hamas in Palestine are looking towards the future, right? I like to think they're optimistic in the fact that Israel is going to be defeated, and the world's going to rise up and stop these evil creatures. I would like to think so. And that being said, Hamas has to look to the future. And so they're looking at, they're looking towards China as far as like getting some guidance. So this is from Al Jazeera. Hamas and Fatah signed unity deal in Beijing aimed at Gaza governance. The factions have agreed an interim national reconciliation government should be formed. So Palestinian factions have signed a national unity agreement aimed at maintaining Palestinian control over Gaza once Israel's war on the enclave concludes. The deal finalized yesterday in China after 3 days of intense talks lays the groundwork for an interim national reconciliation government to rule post-war Gaza, said Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. The agreement was signed by long-term rivals Hamas and Fatah, as well as 12 other Palestinian groups, that's key, right? I think there's, and you see this in France too, with these groups that are aligned on similar lines, but don't really work together well, but they decided to come together for the greater good, as it were. And now you're seeing that with the Hamas. That's a good step for them. So today we sign an agreement for national unity, and we say that the path to completing this journey is national unity, said senior Hamas official Musa Abu Marzouk at a news conference in Beijing. Mustafa Barghouti, Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative, one of the 14 factions to sign the accord, told Al Jazeera the agreement goes much further than any other reached in recent years. He said its four main elements are the establishment of an interim national unity government, the formation of unified Palestinian leadership ahead of future elections, the free election of a new Palestinian National Council, and the general declaration of unity in the face of ongoing Israeli attacks. The move towards a unity government is especially important, he said, because it blocks Israeli efforts to create some sort of collaborative structure against the Palestinian interests. And I think that's what's been hamstringing the Palestinians a lot over the last 78 years of occupation, or however long it is. Because and you see that here in America, you sow discord amongst the people. And that is what's been happening with the Palestinians. So now they're trying to counteract that by coming together. And China, you say, look, these people like, oh, China's evil, China's the thing. It's like, dude, they're making peace deals. They're building like trains and bridges all over the place. What are you doing? You're bombing them. You're bombing trains. You're bombing hospitals. You're bombing candy carts. Who the fuck wants to work with you? You're bombing candy carts. Dumb shit. Fuck off. Anyway, Ukraine said, hey, good idea. Seeing how that's about to wind down over there, Ukraine's foreign minister arrives in China to discuss, quote, fair peace. And there he is right there at a karaoke bar in China. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not quite sure where he is. Looks like he's on a panel, like a game show. This is from Reuters. Ukraine's foreign minister arrived in China yesterday for talks with Foreign Minister Wang Yi. That's a busy man on ways to achieve a fair peace in the war with Russia, and also discuss bilateral relations. Dmytro Kuleba's visit is the first by a high-ranking Ukrainian official since Russia's full-scale February 2022 invasion, which China, the world's second largest economy, has not publicly condemned. Why would they? They're the C and the B. Wait, they're the C and the R in BRICS. So why would they? Kuleba said he would hold extensive, detailed, substantive negotiations with his Chinese counterpart, but did not say when the talks would happen. He said earlier his trip would continue until tomorrow. He says, we must avoid competition between peace plans. It is very important that Kiev and Beijing conduct a direct dialogue. He wrote in a statement on Instagram, he didn't say it, that was just me, announcing his arrival in China. Various peace initiatives have emerged in recent months ahead of a U.S. election in November that could see the return of the White House of former President Donald Trump, who has threatened to cut vital aid flows to Ukraine. The United States, under President Joe Biden, has been Ukraine's biggest backer, but he's only got a few more weeks. And then, tootsie, goodbye. Tootsie, don't cry. And even if Kamala takes over, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Sideburns give people extra rights. Are you speaking of chops? I like chops. He does. He looked like he was at a karaoke bar. What else? Who's next? So here in the United States, they are trying to do that automatic sign you up for selective service for them kids instead of like the kids doing it on their own. Yeah, that doesn't smell of draft coming. I don't know. Well, the NATO states or DARE across the pond, they're like, that sounds like a good idea. Don't mind if I do. So this is from the Libertarian Institute, Connor Freeman, pardon me. NATO states embrace conscription, eyeing future war with Russia. All right. As NATO escalates its proxy war in Ukraine and inches closer to fighting directly with Russia, the Washington-led bloc is embracing mandatory military service. Many European members of NATO have expanded or reintroduced conscription as part of a large-scale preparations for such a war, CNN reports. Already outpaced in terms of military industrial capacity by Russia, the alliance's new battle plans will see an attempt to beef up weapons production and form 35 to 50 brigades of 3,000 to 7,000 battle-ready troops. Boots on the ground in 2024. Yeah, that's this ain't World War II, guys. That's probably not, anyway. Outgoing NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has insisted today we have 500,000 troops on high readiness, combat-ready battle groups in the eastern part of the alliance for the first time. But the bloc is struggling to meet its goals of assembling 300,000 soldiers prepared to be activated within a month and another 500,000 in 6 months. There's also a question of whether the bloc can field a military fit for a protracted war akin to the Ukraine conflict. Yeah, good job over in Ukraine so far, guys. Yeah, that's you really want to model some other wars after that. Following the end of the Cold War, several European states ceased conscripting their citizens, although increasing numbers of NATO member countries have resorted to the draconian practice during recent years, especially in the Baltics and Scandinavia. Roughly a third of the NATO alliance practices some form of compulsory military service. Yeah, right? Bingo, bango, bongo. Let's get ready for war with Putin. Idiots. So, but wait, there's more. Just when you think Santa Claus is safe, he's not. There's probably going to be war at the North Pole, more or less. Here we go. Dave DeCamp, who else? Pentagon released a strategy calling for increased military presence in the Arctic, right? So yesterday, the Pentagon released a new strategy for the Arctic that called for an increased U.S. military presence in the region to confront Russia and China. Yeah, so basically, I think they had some B-52 bombers that were up there going towards Chinese airspace, and the Chinese had to basically like, you got to turn it around, buddy. It's dead end. It's dead end. You got to go back. I know, ain't no turnaround. Just turn around right here. Get the fuck out. The Pentagon said the Arctic is increasingly becoming an area of strategic competition, and the strategy outlines a plan to enhance U.S. military capabilities in the region and conduct military exercises, including those with NATO allies. You going after the polar bears? It might be. Russia owns 51% of the Arctic. Interesting. But did I say China? I meant Russia. They had a confrontation with Russia, and Russia turned them back. They said, nope, no dice. With Sweden and Finland joining NATO, all Arctic countries are now members of the alliance except for Russia, which has the largest Arctic coastline. The accession of new NATO allies and the strengthening of the alliance opens strategic opportunities and supports critical objectives in the 2022 National Strategy for the Arctic region. The Arctic serves as an avenue for power projection to Europe and is vital for the defense of Atlantic sea lines of communications between North America and Europe, the strategy reads. While China is not an Arctic nation, the strategy spends a lot of time on Beijing and accuses the country of, quote, attempting to leverage changing dynamics in the Arctic to pursue greater influence and access, taking advantage of Arctic resources and play a larger role in the regional governance. Yeah. China's like, we got Santa Claus. They managed to get the recipe for the cocaine stuff that the reindeer used to fly during Christmas, and they're like, we're gonna put that in our jets. Actually, them motherfuckers go all night round the world, son. The Anunnaki there will put up with that. I thought they were at the South Pole. I thought they were in Antarctica. They might be. But the Anunnaki are like Visa. They're everywhere. Yeah, so all right, yeah. So that's the news that's fit to print. Here's the news that's bullshit.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media things are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
All right, so this is from Richard Medhurst, and this was floating around yesterday. This is supposedly Hamas, right? So let's watch this. So it says, in the name of God, our struggle against the Zionist regime continues. We address to the people of France and to French President Macron. For those who are just listening. You supported the Zionist regime in its criminal war against the people of Palestine. You provided Zionists with weapons. You helped murder our brothers and sisters, our children. It's got the Palestinian flag there and that thing, right? You invited the Zionists to the Olympic Games. Okay. You will pay for what you have done. Rivers of blood will flow through the streets of Paris. This day is approaching, God willing. Allah is the greatest. All right, so that's not a real human head. I'm going to tell you that right now. That is a mannequin thing. You can see kind of the things there. All right. So anyway, and Richie's got it. He said, fake garbage. His Arabic is off. Hamas don't do terrorist bombings. If they did, they'd proudly announce it. The whole world supports Palestine. This would be counterproductive. Exactly. Why would you do or say things that are counterproductive when you want people to actually help you, right? Hamas are busy wiping the floor with IDF in Gaza, cheap Mossad/CIA disinfo. Yeah. And Richie wasn't the only one. There was a lot of others too that were saying, oh, man, this is some dog shit. What are you doing? So I'm not gonna play this, but this is more Kamala bullshit. So this is Jasmine M. El Gamal, founder and CEO, Mindwork Strategy, Strategic Empathy, Foreign Policy, Mideast, Workplace Mental Health at Department of Defense. Boom, 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 boom. She says, Kamala's confidence and body language is indicative of someone who knows that They are exactly where they are supposed to be at exactly the right moment in time. What the fuck does that mean? What? She's like, the hang of the thing and the gleam and the waving. I got a whole video. We already showed it, but it's just her just saying some dumb shit. So anyway, so she goes on, a far cry from the unsuccessful 2020 candidate the New York Times called an uneven campaigner who changes her message and tactics to little effect. Wow, a rare truth from the New York Times. Anyone who's tried and failed at a job or opportunity once because it wasn't the right time or they weren't at the right moment in their lives for it, only to find that alignment later on, can understand this type of energy and confidence. Or indicative, whatever she says. He wants to learn about yellow school buses. I believe they call this being comfortable in your own skin. CNN will definitely be boogieing. Oh my God. My boy spitting venoms. Good old friend of mine. Scrolling through my feed right now is brutal. I don't know how I'm going to survive the next 3 months. Here we go. Harry Sisson, you know, that little piece of shit, that little Gen Z or Gen Alpha propagandist. OMG, Vice President Kamala Harris has a packed house for her first rally in Wisconsin today. People around the country are fired up and ready to beat Trump. All right, so this is like the angle, right? We'll talk about this in a second. Joan Walsh. My sister's at the Harris rally in West Allis. Gym packed to the rafters, electric. And then this ass face. Today's a good day to remember that the Biden-Harris administration presided over the best economic recovery in the world. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking gross ass shit. These dumb motherfuckers. All right, so this is Victor Shi. He says, holy cow. Completely packed stadium for VP Kamala Harris on her first campaign stop. All right, so this was a high school gym. There was like 3,000 people in there. There's only 3,000 people there. Maybe. So they called it a stadium. And then somebody down here said, dude, it's a stadium. I think the word you're looking for is high school gymnasium. But it's cute. It is cute. This propaganda just sucks, man. You have to be just really just stupid to believe this shit. Although I do like Shelly, great artist on here, a good and friend of the show. She had this. I thought this was funny. I'm dropping out. I endorse Kamala. This is not fake. Show. Looks like that looks like he's been taken hostage. I think he is. I think he has been taken hostage. I don't really care. He needs to go away, that racist, evil piece of shit. Fuck that guy. Is that it? Is that everybody? Newman? Hello, Newman. Yeah, I guess so. We've ran the gauntlet. What time is it? 10:08? That's about right. Hey, Kate, what's going on? I hear that the rally in Milwaukee was filled with Caucasian people. Yes. It was white as the driven snow, that's for sure. Best Harry Sisson impression. Yeah, you just have to, all you have to do is just pretend like you have a stick up your ass and, basically no critical thinking skills. And, you can do a Harry Sisson impression very well. Yeah, so, I believe that's going to do it for today. Around the world, hey, Fred, what's going on? Good to see you. Kakala 2024 or Cackling Kamala 2024. You know, you can't tackle the cackle. You can only hope to contain it. So around the world, Dee and Friends tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. I think Willie's got a show tonight too, Willie Bragg's show. If you're not subscribed to him, make sure you are. Good stuff. Whether you agree with opinions or not, he's out there giving you his honest opinion. He comes from a good place, so, you know, take a listen. Dee's got some good information, too. They have some good conversations on there. But Dr. Joe Firestone, hey, everybody, get out of my yard. I'm going to beat you with this stick I found. No, I'm just kidding. That's not Joe Firestone. He's good. Yeah, but and don't forget, coming up Friday, Dr. Science himself, Robert Dean Moore from the University of North Dakota. We're going to be talking about the James Webb Space Telescope and all the goodies it's found. Also, Planet 9. What's perturbing all those planets out there, right? That's how they found Pluto, because it was perturbing, I think, the orbits of Neptune, like some of the outer gas planets. And so there's something else out there doing it as well. Might be out in the Oort cloud, which if you've never been to the Oort cloud, it's basically this guy. His name's Billy Ray Oort, and he's always smoking weed in his trailer. And you just go in there, you're just gonna get hotbox. Seriously. I guess that's gonna do it for today. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Kate and Osama number 5, Global Solidarity, John Kemper, Fred Edward, of course, Ed Heller, and Bella, good to see you, and Desert Mantis. I know Anonymous was up in here too. CBC voter, good to see you. Willie Bragg was here earlier as well. And our folks over there on Rumble. I'm sorry about this morning. Rumble was a little bit nutty. I don't know why. I did the same thing I normally do, and of course it said, "Well, fuck you too." So it's fine. I think we got it figured out. And everybody over there, Kate and Osama over there on Rockfin too. So we do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. Central. On YouTube, Rockfin and Rumble till they take us off. So we'll do it again Friday. Like I said, we're gonna have Robert here, and I've had Robert on other shows before, and an old friend of mine, literally old. He's ancient. I don't know how he walks around without the wind blowing him away, but he'll be here for this Friday, and we'll tell some tales, some brief tales, but then get to the goodies too. Other than that, make sure you're checking out independent media and scrutinize. Don't be a cultist. You know, it's not a good thing. Keep your critical thinking skills sharp. We're gonna need them once the real shit hits the fan, which is probably coming soon. Anyway, peace out. Word to your mother, and smell you later. All that jazz.
This is City Alpha 5! Woo!
Damn good song, wasn't it, dog? You like that song? All right.